Hi, everybody. This is Joe from PrepAgent with my esteemed colleague and webinar instructor extraordinaire, Cynthia Lott. Hi, Cynthia.
Hello, how are you today?
Good. So, Cynthia, not only you are a webinar pro, but you're also a tutor. And a lot of students ask about the tutoring. So I thought we would just do a video real quick explaining what is involved in tutoring, because obviously people need that special one-on-one help from time to time. This isn't easy for everybody. It wasn't easy for me, especially because a lot of us have not taken an exam for a really long time. And nobody cares about students more than you. Anybody who's attending your webinars or listening to your recording knows that. So let's talk a little bit about the tutoring process, what happens. So somebody comes to you, signs up, says, I need an hour. By the way, in case people don't know, these are an hour blocks. You could sign up through the website. I'll put the link in the show notes below so you can find Cynthia's information. So tell me what happens. Somebody comes to you, say, Cynthia, help me. I need to pass. I'm so scared, the usual thing. So what's the first thing that happens?
So the first thing is I am going to get to know that student. I am going to find out, have they ever taken the exam before? I'm going to find out how they've been studying, how many hours a day do they study. Everybody learns differently. So I'm also kind of like a detective. I'm having to try to figure out in a very short amount of time, what kind of brain style do they have? How do they learn the best? So that's the first thing that I'm doing, is kind of just an overall evaluation to figure out where we need to begin.
So you're kind of creating a plan for them. So it's not just about explaining facts, like explaining definitions of words, but you're kind of creating a strategy because they can't do everything in that hour, right? So you kind of have to set up a plan that they can follow above and beyond that hour, correct?
That's exactly right. So a lot of times people come for tutoring that have taken the exam before, and they're extremely smart people. They're going to do fantastic in real estate. The exam is just worded in a very difficult way. So I go in, and usually they will have their score sheet from when they took the exam. So I can evaluate that. It's a numbers game a lot of times. I can figure out how many points they needed to pass, what part they need to work on or parts they need to work on. I'll also time block that for them. We pull up the whiteboard on Zoom. We put it on their calendar, just like a teacher doing lesson plans. This is what you need to work on at this time. And we put all that information there so they have a very organized, very concise plan that they can work on, that's easy for them every single day, and it will give them every opportunity to pass that exam.
So you have the people who need a plan. I'm assuming you also have people who just one time say, hey, I don't understand this word, this word, this word. Can you explain it? Because I guess there's also people who study a lot and they come to you to kind of like those things that they're just kind of annoying them. They're just like, I need some time. I've been studying. I just don't get this term. And you're like, all right, let's do that. And you just explain the terms. You get it? Yeah. And then they're on their way, right?
In every single tutoring session, there's going to be a time that I've put aside to answer all of their questions. And that's where they would bring something like that in. Maybe there's a certain topic that's difficult for them, or maybe, like you said, there's a term that they're just struggling with. So in each tutoring session, there's some time allotted just for that.
Yeah. And I guess because everybody has, as you said, their personal agenda, their personal challenges, I guess you'll say, and having that one-on-one time really helps you cater to that. So when we do those webinars are great, and we teach a lot of information. It's a lot of fun, but there's like 300 people there, or 400 people. I mean, how much did you have in your webinar on Monday? Must have been 400 or so, right?
There were a lot of people there. Yes.
Right. So it's just impossible. Now, the beauty of the webinars is people could attend a lot of them every single day, and that may not be realistic for the tutoring. So the balance is really nice. Like you attend the webinars, you could do those every day, and then you could kind of, I want to say, close the gaps, sew it all together. Is that a good way to put it? Sew it all together, with the tutoring, to have a true, complete study plan. So that's what I recommend. And I don't know what you think, but it's all part of a complete study plan. It's just sometimes I feel like when people are studying, even if they're doing it well, being able to talk to somebody like yourself just gives you that confidence. Like, I'm doing this correct, right? Am I doing the right thing? And sometimes I guess all you need to do is be like, you're doing great. And that's all people need, right?
Right. Sometimes people feel a bit overwhelmed because it's so much information. So the tutoring sessions make it all very concise. Sometimes people are studying too much information, the wrong information. So we can, in those tutoring sessions, make sure that we have tailor-made their studying just for them. I also address test anxiety. I would say 95% of the students who come for tutoring have test anxiety. It's a very real thing. Some people get physically ill when they take a test. Some people forget everything that they know. So we also go over test anxiety and some tips to help with that while they're taking the test.
And I got to think the person I just described, the person who's probably doing everything right, but doesn't have enough confidence to know they are, they're doing all the right things, but they just want that confirmation for somebody like you. It's probably the same person that has test anxiety too. Is that person who's constantly questioning themselves. And sometimes said, you need to hear from somebody like yourself, like, you don't know it, but you're doing great. You're on the right path. Sometimes you got to tell them, maybe it's not so great, we got to change paths, but sometimes it's like, you're doing awesome. Just keep doing what you're doing. Let's talk about it. Let's reinforce it because you're doing good stuff. The overthinkers, we call it, right? The overanalyzers, overthinkers.
And my students, I always give them my email. And a lot of times they just, they'll email me, oh, I didn't pass my test. And I'll say, well, it's okay. It's okay. We now have another score sheet. It's a numbers game. We can go in, we can reanalyze that again. A lot of times they're emailing me to say, hey, my test is tomorrow. I'm really nervous about it. So I can extend them some kind words, some words of reassurance. And I think that's very helpful.
So when the hour's done, you don't disappear into space.
No, I'm a teacher forever. I always say I'm your teacher for life.
Well, that is very nice. And that's a nice way to wrap this up. So that's the tutoring sessions with Cynthia. I know a lot of people had questions of what it's all about because they see it and there's only so much you can learn from a little blurb on the website. So we wanted to do this video so you could talk about it, talk about the goals, the strategy. I hope that helped everybody. If you have any questions, obviously send us a message, and then we'll go from there. Sound good?
Sounds wonderful.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.